6 years after the creation of the Magna Carta, Hungary established a similar constitutional framework called the Golden Bull of 1222. This was the result of the tumultuous reign of András II of Hungary, who completely uprooted a centuries-old class structure in Hungary. The influential Béla III had two sons, Imre and András, and they struggled against each other tremendously. The older son, Imre, was appointed to the throne after Béla's death, but András received a significant inheritance, but under the condition that he lead a crusade to the Holy Land. András instead used this money to wage a war against his brother, demanding an independent duchy in present-day Slovenia and eventually losing militarily against King Imre. After an imprisonment, András was released, and on Imre's deathbed, these brothers somehow made amends. For some inconceivable reason, King Imre entrusted András with the guardianship over his infant son, who would be King László III. The widowed Queen Mother realized what a stupid dying wish this was and moved her family to Vienna. But unsurprisingly, the 3-year-old King László died, and András, of course, became king. András's reign was a disaster. Not only did he wage at least a dozen wars to seize principalities of the Rus, he finally got around to that Holy Land crusade, which was an expensive failure. He was accused of so much favoritism toward Germans that his German wife was assassinated. He appointed Jews and Muslims to treasury positions, which infuriated the Holy See. But, most chaotically, he pissed off a class of the nobility called the royal servants, who were free men that owned possessions and answered to nobody but the king. He did this by awarding huge estates and castles to those loyal only to him, effectively creating a greater nobility compared to the lesser nobility. That lesser nobility revolted and forced András to issue the Golden Bull, which established rights for them, including exemption from taxation and arrest without a verdict, a system of inheritance, and limitations on titles. It also forbade Jews and Muslims from the nobility and tax collecting positions, because of course it did. The oldest existing history of the Hungarians also happened to be written around this time, and it tells of a blood oath signed between pagan chieftains swearing rights among the king. Some historians speculate this was written as a reflection of this ongoing social transformation. I do a deep dive into this in the newest episode of my Turan Explorer podcast, so listen and subscribe for more.